Yeah, I can say that this video is going to reveal if I had a whale of a good time with this movie. Yeah, that one sucked. Anyway, here are my thoughts on The Whale. I know I'm pretty late to this movie, but there are a lot of Oscar contenders this year that I was just late to seeing that I'm covering now. So I think the next couple of videos are going to be just that, like covering some of the Oscar movies that I'd seen recently that I just haven't talked about yet. So The Whale is a movie that's based on the play by the same name written by Samuel D. Hunter. It's about a morbidly obese man named Charlie, in this movie played by Brendan Fraser, and he's trying to reconnect with his estranged daughter and like just basically get his life together. And it's very sad. This is pretty sensitive content matter that I really don't like to watch, or at least I don't like to watch when I'm in a specific mood. And that's why I've kind of avoided talking about this because I watched this like last month, and it's tough for me to talk about a movie like this. I should also note that another reason why I'm not really ready to talk about this just yet is because of the director, Darren Aronofsky. A talented man. I've only seen a couple of his movies, but the two I've seen, I feel very strongly about on both ends of like the opinion spectrum. On one end is Black Swan. I love this movie. I think Natalie Portman is incredible in it, and it is one of my favorite psychological movies in general. On the other end, though, is Mother, his previous movie before The Whale, and it is just atrocious. I don't even think the acting's good. It's too on the nose with a lot of its Christian themes, and it just completely turned me off of the movie. And of course, at the Oscars earlier this year, a couple months ago, we just saw Brendan Fraser win Best Actor for this in what completed an admittedly pretty cool comeback story in Hollywood. And I will say right off the bat, I do think he deserves this award. As much as I was rooting for Austin Butler for the Oscar, I think Fraser pulls in a completely different performance, at least on the side of Austin Butler's performance. I think he did an incredible job, and honestly, I think he very much deserved this award, and I hope a lot more great work comes his way for this. The other nominated actor in this movie is Chau, who plays Liz in this, and I also really liked her too. Chau's been on a roll recently. She was incredible in The Menu as well, which I'm debating talking about if I'm going to watch it again. But I liked her in it as well. But everything else in this is just I don't know. I don't know how divisive this movie is with audiences since I watched this by myself, but there's so much of this I just was not vibing with me. Knowing that it's a play makes so much more sense. Most of this is set in Charlie's apartment, and it felt much more natural as a play. And I want to see whether if it's taped footage of it. I want to see the stage version of The Whale to see if it like has the same effect as it. Honestly, the rest of the acting in this is just kind of okay to me. I hadn't seen the newer seasons of Stranger Things, so this was really the first thing I had seen Sadie sink in. I think she does an okay job. I can't really get a read on how she is like in Stranger Things if this was a better performance than that, but she did okay in this. Also, Ty Simpkins is in this, and he plays like, for lack of a better term, he plays one. I forget the term right now. It's like the religious people that knock on the doors. I'm completely blanking on what it's called because I am just pretty tired right now, and this is like the one movie that I probably shouldn't have been talking about when I was tired, but here I am now. Again, I think I have the same issue here that I had with Mother. It is too overbearing on like making a spectacle out of Charlie and just looking at him as like, look at this guy. He's fat. He can barely move. When he's on like Zoom calls, he can't have the camera on and all that, and just it hit me over the head a couple of times with it, and it really didn't need to. Like, I could put it together just by looking at it, but it was really overbearing. But on top of that, I really feel for Charlie here, and Fraser is putting together an incredible performance here, which honestly kind of balances out the bad stuff in here, because honestly, Mother didn't have an amazing performance. I would probably feel the same way about that, but about this, and like the whale would be on the same level. But no one in Mother is just performing it the way Brendan Fraser is in this. And I feel like once this hit like to be able to like purchase digitally and rent, the ending went viral. The ending scene of this movie went viral. I had seen it online without context. Without context, I thought it was really goofy. And it's after seeing it in the movie, I get what they were going for. It it may have tainted my mind because of how goofy it looked, just completely out of context. But it kind of fell flat for me. It just did. There were parts that did get me emotional, and I'm not like I don't have a heart of ice or anything, but like it's I felt something from it, but it felt like it was too overbearing to just keep going and going and going for however long this movie was. I think it was like a little less than 2 hours, and it was just too much. So yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on The Whale. I think Brendan Fraser and Chau are by far the best parts of this movie. It's to a point where I wouldn't have minded seeing Chau get the Oscar, but Brendan Fraser is what sells this movie. That's what its entire movie was built around on, and he did incredible. So really, that's all I had to say about it. But outside of that, so many other things just lowered on the bar for me, and just nothing hit the level of Fraser. If we're gonna take back that Aronofsky spectrum from earlier, if we're gonna lean in like this end is Black Swan, the other is Mother, I think The Whale is right in the middle. It does not have the worst parts of Mother, and it has the great lead performance that Black Swan has, but there's just like they picked and chose some things in both movies that just like it didn't land for me outside of Fraser and Chau. That's why I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10 on The Whale. I feel like I should have liked this more. I feel like just like I feel bad giving it a 6 because I was rooting for this movie, especially with Fraser winning the Oscar. But that's the highest I can give it at this point. Alright, that's my thoughts on the whole thing. I had mentioned earlier that this was only my third Aronofsky movie out of Mother, Black Swan, and The Whale. So I'm going to ask you, if you've seen any other of Aronofsky's movies, what do you recommend that I should watch? I know that he's made Pi and the Russell Crowe Noah's Ark movie. Off the top of my head, that's really all I remember. It's Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what they are. The Christians that knock on doors. They're Jehovah's Witnesses. Sorry, I had to cut in on this to remember that. So, back to what it was. Recommend me an Aronofsky movie. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video as well, if you agreed. I'm not going to stop you if you dislike the video. But either way, comment below as well. My mind just blanked. I'll see you in the next video. Later this week, I'm seeing Mario. There's going to be a video for that later this week. See ya.